Okay, you're live. There's somebody in the waiting room, Maya. So, hello everyone. So,
Hello, ma'am.
welcome.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Thought Exchange in the global classroom. So, today I had asked in the group, let us have some open discussions. If you have any questions about teaching strategies or curriculum planning or any classroom challenges, then do let us know. So there was this question about classroom management. So I thought that I'll first take this short session, and then after that we will discuss, because Maya has some really good strategies which she can share what she uses in her class uh, for managing her students in the classroom. Okay. So we'll start with the presentation and then we will have a discussion. So why do you need to manage your classroom? So that you create a positive environment for learning. And the main principles that help in managing a positive learning environment will be following up in the following slides. It is very necessary that you should establish clear expectations with your students. Along with it, you should also build positive relationships so that there is a safe environment where students can learn. Okay, so that's the main purpose of classroom management. So now we spoke about establishing clear expectations and building relationships. So when I say establish clear expectations, then what do I mean? Okay, what kind of expectations? So you have three types of expectations. You have academic expectations, you have behavioral expectations, and you have social expectations. Okay, so now what do you mean by it? So when we talk about academic expectations, we need to tell our students clearly what are the assignment requirements. So explain to them what are the requirements of the task that they're doing or the assignment that you're giving in class. Also, be very clear about the grading policies. Okay, and talk about academic honesty. So these three things are very important in terms of academic expectations. What are the requirements of the assignment? What are the grading policies? And what is academic honesty? So these have to be very clear. Then, in terms of behavioral expectations, we want students to behave in such a way that learning is not disrupted. Okay, so you will have some classroom rules. So these are in an IB classroom. Instead of saying classroom rules, we call it essential agreements. So at the beginning of the year, in an IB classroom, whether it is PYP, NYP, DP, all teachers set up their essential agreements. So they ask the students, okay, what do you think should be the rules of the classroom? So students will give their points. What I did as a teacher when I taught middle years, I wrote all the points on the board, and then we just converted all these points, whatever, and we had four set of rules, which was very broad, okay, but it included your behavioral expectations. Uh, in this, what kind of conduct do you expect from the students while they are uh, doing the activities or while they are engaged in the lessons? So those should also be included in the essential agreements. So I'll tell you what essential agreements I had in my class. Let us finish this. During our discussions, I will let you know. The third type of expectations that we need to be very clear are social expectations. You should tell your students that there always have to be respectful interactions between the teacher and the student, as well as between the students. There should be collaboration, and students should be empathetic to each other. Okay, so these are the social expectations that you have in your class to manage the classroom. Any questions about this? So if I ask the group, okay, I will also explain about what essential agreements I have in my class. Can I ask the group here, what kind of essential agreements do you have in your class? Anyone would want to say?
Yes. I'm Pushpavati.
Mhm.
So I have a set of essential agreements which in the beginning of the academic itself, I'll start putting on my board next to my board.
Mhm.
Few are even though if they do some mistake, they should rise up and they should say,
Mhm.
and maintain the classroom decorum, like maintain silence. If they have question, they should raise their hands,
Mhm.
and if they completed their notes, they can share it with their peers. So
Mhm.
there are set of whichever related to visual arts, how they maintain that, I made very scaffolding way and I put it on my board. So
Thank you, Pushpa, for sharing your strategy or your expectations. Anybody else would want to share? I can share mine after everybody shares. Yeah,
आ,
Maya.
मेरे क्लास में जब आइस ब्रेकर एक्टिविटी होती है, जब बच्चे नए नए आते हैं, एक दूसरे को जानना सब होता है, उसके बाद का अगला हमारा सेशन होता है एसेंशियल अग्रीमेंट में काम करना। तो बच्चों को मैं मार्कर दे देती हूँ और अपने अपने टेबल में अपने पॉइंट्स वो लिख लेते हैं कि क्या होना चाहिए हिंदी क्लास में और क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है। फिर ओवरऑल सब सबके व्यूज जानकर फिर हम लोग कॉमन बना लेते हैं, जैसे लिसन एंड फॉलो डायरेक्शंस, रेज योर हैंड बिफोर स्पीकिंग और लीविंग योर सीट्स, यूज टेक्नोलॉजी रिस्पॉन्सिबली एंड only when permitted by teacher, actively participate in class discussion, use polite language, be respectful to everyone. So keep your hands and feet to yourself. Respect your teachers, classmate, and class property. During Hindi class, speak in Hindi.
Mhm.
Be willing to take risk and make mistakes as a part of learning.
Mhm.
Embrace challenges as opportunity to grow and improvement.
अच्छा.
ग्रो एंड इम्प्रूव। तो इस तरीके का हम लोग कॉमन पूरा बना लेते हैं और फिर उसको पूरा बोर्ड में लगाकर बताते कि ये अब से ये आप लोगों ने बनाया हुआ है, ये आप लोगों के इच्छा से बना हुआ है और ये हमने मिलकर ये रूल्स आप लोगों ने बनाए। तो ऐसे ही ग्रेड 2 के आते हैं, ग्रेड 3, 4, 5 के बच्चे आते हैं, तो सबका हम जान लेते हैं क्या क्या उनके पॉइंट्स हैं और फिर उसका कॉमन बनाकर क्लास में लगा लेते हैं इनसे।
अच्छा. Anybody else wants to share?
Like ma'am, one of the agreement that we have is keep your hands to yourself,
Mm.
so that there is no fighting and all those sort of things in the class. And
Mhm.
I like to mention that this is not a one time activity. Like what I do is these agreements are changed in the second term or whenever I feel the need. For
Mhm.
example, if the whole class, majorly if everybody is agreeing to a particular agreement that we decided on, so
Mhm.
then I eliminate that. Like I put up a new chart wherein we then change the agreements.
Mhm.
Those are not being followed still be there on the chart, and the new ones that I want them to follow. So with the discussion, with their agreement, I put those also.
That's a nice strategy
और
that you use.
मैं एक ऐड करना चाहूंगी इसमें, जब हम असेंशियल अग्रीमेंट बनाते हैं तो और जब बच्चे उसको फॉलो करते हैं तो उसमें बच्चों को मोटिवेट करने के लिए उनको रिवॉर्ड भी दिया जाता है उसमें, ऐसे वो भी लिखा हुआ रहता है कि अगर आपने ये सब फॉलो किया तो आपको
अच्छा,
उसके लिए
पहले से
रिवॉर्ड
ही क्लियर है.
मिलेगा। हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
हाँ. So good.
And if they do not follow, then there are consequences also.
हाँ जी,
So we
करेक्ट।
discuss
ठीक
on
है.
the consequences also,
हाँ
which could
जी।
be like anything. And at times the consequences 5
हम्म
minutes delay to the sports class. So nobody wants to miss the
Correct.
sports class.
हमेशा तुम लोग स्पोर्ट्स के क्लास को ये करते हो बेचारे बच्चे.
So
Break
like even a
time.
5-minute penalty is like a big thing for them. They don't want to miss it, no? Be it dance or sports.
हाँ.
Yeah, but that's not fair for the sports and dance teachers. Acha. So what I do is at the beginning of the year, I ask them, okay, what should be the rules? So they give you many points, you know. We should not talk. We should not disturb others. We should be focused in our class. We should wait for our turn. So they give you a lot of rules and regulations. So what I do is I write everything on the board, okay, whatever they say. And after that, we come to an agreement to these 4 points. Now, why I'm saying 4 or 5 max? Because if you have too many essential agreements, then they will forget. Okay, so I always have only these 4, and these 4 encompasses everything that I want them to follow. Okay, so first is follow the direction of the teacher. Now, when I say follow the direction of the teacher, if I say pay attention, they have to pay attention. If I say take out your books, they have to do that. If I say let's do this experiment, they will have to listen, right? So whatever directions I give them, they have to follow. So this is a very, how do you say? It will encompass everything because you have to follow the direction of the teacher. Okay. Then second point that I give them is that you should come prepared with all your learning materials. And when I say all your learning materials, what I also do is in their notebook, I make them write the learning materials that I want them. So I write handouts, worksheets, a pair of scissors, colored pens, eraser, pencil, pen, sharpener. So whatever they need learning materials, I tell them that they have to bring it to their class and be prepared for the lesson. If they don't have it, then they have to take the signature of the parents. Okay. After the essential agreement is copied in their notebook, they have to sign it. I will sign it and the parent will sign it. And the list of materials are also there. So they know that they have to come prepared for the class with all the learning materials, and the learning material list is also there. So this is the second rule or essential agreement that I ask them to write. Third is wait for your turn. Okay, you have to wait for your turn. And the last is you have no right to disturb others' learning. So if you are not disturbing others, that means you are also focused, right? So these 4 points will encompass everything that you want them to follow, right? Because the first one is only a universal rule. Follow the directions of the teacher. So if the teacher sees that, okay, some mischief is happening or people are not paying attention, then she will give those instructions, right? They have to listen to it. So the first rule only has everything. So instead of having a long list of rules and regulations, it is always good to have lesser numbers so that they remember. And it is easy for you also to say that, okay, rule number 1, violation. Or rule number 2, you have not done. And then you may have consequences. Again, consequences, you ask the students. You tell me what the consequences are. I will not tell because you have made the essential agreement. You tell me the consequence. And then they are responsible. They take ownership of whatever they do. That's why throw the ball in their court. Okay. So this is about establishing clear expectations. Now, next thing is about maintaining consistency. So you have to enforce rules that are impartial. Okay. So that why impartial? Then only students will trust you. Right. So if you are partial, then students will always say, Miss, you are not fair. I just hate that sentence. I tell them that I'm very fair and I know I'm fair because I'm impartial. I don't have a favorite. I don't play favorites. Okay. And I enforce all the rules impartially. Okay. So that is very important so that students trust you. Second thing is that you should always have a routine. So students should know that when they come into the class, they have to come prepared for the lessons. They should have their handouts, they should have their notebook, They should be prepared for the class. They should know where they are sitting, okay, and be prepared for the class. So routine procedures are very, very important so that there is proper management of class. And the third is, when you are going to say that this is going to be the consequence, then follow it. If you say that you are going to do something and you don't do it, students will never listen to you. Okay, so whatever consequences you have said that you're going to have because of the breaking of the essential agreement, then please follow through. If you don't want to do it, then don't give any consequences. And another thing is that ask students what the consequences should be, because then they will own their essential agreement and the consequence. Okay, anything about this? Anybody wants to say anything about this?
Can I ask?
Yes.
Like we do like keep the essential agreements, but then what happens like after a month or so, then they don't take it that serious. Like,
So that's why, again, consistency, routine. You need to be consistent. If you are not going to remind them, they will forget. Right? Whenever they are forgetting, then you should say, okay, what about rule number 1? Okay, what about rule number 4? So
To be
that's why
honest-
you should have very few rules. Otherwise, they will not remember which rules you're talking about. Which agreement are you talking about?
like in very special case, the students are like such irrespectful or misbehaving, even they know the consequences, but still they will violate the rule and they will be stubbornly
Follow
sitting in
through.
the
No,
class.
no. Then, okay. Now, if I have consistently students not behaving well, then you need to take the help of the social emotional counselor.
Okay.
Okay. Then something is really wrong. Either the student is disturbed, something is really wrong. If the student is off his normal behavior, okay, then it rings a bell. You have to be empathetic and maybe ask that student, and the student who does not want to tell you, then maybe talk to the homeroom teacher if you're a subject teacher, or ask the social emotional counselor to have a talk with the students. When the students are disturbed, then only they do. Otherwise, a happy student will never try to disturb or distract the class.
That's true.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe do that. Anything else?
Ma'am, one thing that I follow is I try while framing the rules with the or agreements with the children. I try when I put them on the board or when I we recollect that what agreements we will have. I try and put them in positive words like no to be used or no not to be used. So instead of saying that you will not fight or no you I rather will say that we'll keep our hands to ourselves.
Very good point. Very good point. So have positive, write it in a positive way. Okay. Instead of saying don't do, say do. What you are wanting them to do, write that. Okay. Yeah. Good point. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So now we spoke about having clear expectations. Now, in order to have a very safe and good learning environment, you need to build positive relationships with our students. So how will you build positive relationships? By showing empathy. Okay, you understand what the students' perspectives are. Maybe they have a difference of opinion. So understand what the students mean or what they want to say. Actively listen to them. Okay, sometimes what you do, students keep saying and then you are doing your own thing. When the students talk to you, please listen to them actively. Okay. And lastly, encourage your students, offer support. Okay. So when you do these 3 things with your students, then the students will trust you and they will know that my teacher is good. And when you say that, okay, this is what is expected, they will listen to you. Okay. So these are the 3 things you need to do to build positive relationship. Show empathy, listen actively to them, and offer your support. One more very important thing to ensure that there is proper, behavior or classroom management is there, what you need to do is plan proactively. Okay. When you are planning, you should anticipate that there may be potential issues during the class and there may be disruptions. So, example, before a group activity, you might anticipate that the students may dominate the conversation. There would be some students in your class who would like to talk a lot. So maybe then you assign a specific role to that student. Okay. Or in the groups, to assign different roles so that one person does not dominate the whole conversation. So think about when you're planning your activities also, think about who is going to do what and where there will not be disruptions. Plan your routine. Okay, again, routine planning routines, consistent routines is repeated over here. At the beginning of the year, you should establish a clear procedure of how the students will come to your classroom, where are you going to put their belongings if they are in the homeroom, and what they should do immediately upon arrival. I remember this very well. My friend Cecilia, okay, she was a grade 5 homeroom teacher, PYP homeroom teacher, and she always taught routines to her students at the beginning of the year. So the students knew that when they come to the classroom, they have to greet the teacher. And then they will keep their belongings, water bottle, bags, they will come to their seat and they will have some activity. Before everybody comes in, something will be there on the table that they have to work on. So this was the routine. So I remember this very well, and therefore I also used to set a routine in the class. When they come in, they know where they have to sit and they have to be ready for their class with all their learning materials. So that was a routine. If they did not have their learning material, then they have to go. I should tell them, go beg, borrow, steal. But if you don't have all your materials, then please, Miss Meena, if you are here, please be muted. So they should follow a certain routine, and this will ensure that there is proper classroom management. Okay. The third point about proactive planning is you prepare your activities, you design engaging activities. Your class cannot be just a boring lecture. Okay. You think about how you can make the lesson interactive, or what kind of hands-on or group activity you can do, or if there is VTR that you can use as a group, visual thinking routine that the students can use. So think about engaging activities which will prevent behavior which is unwanted. Okay, so preparing activities for your lessons is also very important. Now, another thing that is important is having effective communication. Like I said, for providing trust or building relationship, you need to actively listen to your student. Okay. And the very first point we said that your instructions have to be very, very clear. So for effective communication, these are the 3 points. You should give clear instructions to your students so that they know what they are supposed to do. Okay. And it's a good idea if you can have those instructions written somewhere, either on the board, on the piece of paper. If it is a task, the instructions should be on the piece of paper. If the instructions, if the students will not understand long instructions, it's a good idea to have it as a PowerPoint presentation slide and shown on the screen. Okay, so they can read the instruction and you can say follow the instructions which is there visible to you. Then active listening. When a student asks a question, then teacher should listen attentively without interrupting to the student. Make eye contact. Okay, so that the student knows that, okay, the teacher is listening to you. And then the last thing about effective communication is giving feedback. Okay. Now the feedback, just don't put tick mark and say good. Okay. Can do better. That is not feedback. Write down exactly what you want the student to repeat doing. If it is good, then you say that your introduction effectively grabs the reader's attention and your arguments are well supported by evidence. So if you write this, then the students know that, okay, this is how you write the introduction, and the students will repeat it in the following assignments also. So please, instead of just saying good job, give constructive feedback, not just saying good can do better. Okay. So for effective communication, you should give clear instructions, actively listen to your students, and give timely feedback. Now, we spoke about positive reinforcement. I remember Pushpa as well as I think it was Samta and Maya. You all said about something about using praise. Okay. Positive reinforcement can also be used to ensure that students repeat what is good. Okay, what is good behavior? If you want them to repeat it again and again, then positive reinforcement is very good. So verbal praise, saying that good job. Okay, I'm happy that you are paying attention to the class and you are able to answer. Also, maybe small rewards, a star. Okay, I know that Maya gives them stars and stickers. Okay, she also has either erasers or something. In fact, Maya and I used to go shopping to buy all her goodies that she wants to give to her students as a reward. Okay, also, if you can give positive notes, if you can send an email to the parents saying that the student has done extremely well in this particular assessment, or the student has been behaving extremely well, and I'm very happy with her behavior as well as her performance in the class. So every time when a student does bad, we want to send an email saying that student is not behaving properly, they are not studying well. Instead of doing this, if you can send some positive emails to the parents, then I think it helps in having proper, getting the right kind of behavior from your students. I remember Miss Cecilia used to have something like a, what did she say? Pizza party or something in a month. Once a month, she used to, whichever students had got the maximum stars or maximum points, she used to pick the student and they used to go for a pizza lunch. She used to take some students for pizza party once a month, and all the students used to be very proud to go. So the other students used to feel that, okay, so this time if Miss Ashika has gone with Miss Cecilia, so next time Maya will try very best to go for the pizza party with Miss Cecilia. So I know that she used to do that, and that used to really help in getting positive behavior from her students. You want to say anything, Maya, about this? Because you and I both know.
हाँ, सिसिलिया ले जाती थी उनके बच्चों को ऐसा उसमें।
Hmm.
और वर्बली ये जो 3 बोला बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है बच्चों को एनकरेज करने के लिए। हम रूल्स तो बना देते हैं मगर रूल्स फॉलो करने पर उनको रिवॉर्ड क्या, छोटे हो या बड़े हो, हर किसी को प्रेज लगता ही है, रिवॉर्ड लगता ही अलग अलग तरीके से।
You will not believe my DP students also wanted stars.
हाँ। मैं लास्ट ईयर जो ग्रेड 10 का बच्चा था उसने देखा कि पीवाईपी के बच्चों को स्टिकर्स दे रहे हैं अच्छे, इसमें गुड जॉब, ग्रेट, अच्छा पार्टिसिपेट किया, ये वो सब। तो वो मुझसे कहने लगे कि नहीं हमको भी चाहिए, मिस हम भी तो करते हैं ना बिहेवियर अच्छे से, हमें भी चाहिए, हमको भी दिखाने अच्छा लगता है पेरेंट्स को। तो
Yeah.
वो सच
And
में
another strategy that I used to have in my class is grade 8 used to be always the naughtiest grade. You know, over that time, like Miss Deepa has said in the message in the global classroom, that it is a time that they are neither adult nor kids. Okay. So what I used to do is I used to keep a glass jar, a jam jar in my class. Okay. And I used to have a lot of marbles with me. So if they behaved well, I used to take a handful of marbles and put in the jam jar. Okay. If they did not behave, so if there are 10 students and 9 of them behaved well, I used to put 9 marbles in the jar. Okay. But if one student also misbehaved, then I just used to just put my hand inside and I'd remove how much ever comes in my hand. Okay. And I used to tell them that if the jam jar is full, then you will get to do whatever you want in one lesson in 40 minutes. Okay. So then they used to try so hard to make that jam jar full. But then again, so if somebody misbehaved and I put my hand inside the jam jar to remove the bubbles, they used to scream at her, "No, miss, please, take only one, don't take many." So that used to be a lot of, motivation for them to behave well in my class. So I know that this works, especially with grade 8 students. They want it. Yeah. So yeah, this strategy tried and tested. Okay, now engagement strategies. Now, how if students are engaged in their learning, then they will not misbehave. Then you don't have to manage the classroom. Okay. So, what are engagement strategies? First one, group work, students collaborating on something, working in a group. Then second is interactive lessons, where there is an interaction, a class debate or a role play or a game-based learning approach. Then they are very interested and they are focused. And the third main point is using technology. So when you use some apps or simulations or multimedia presentations you ask them to create, or video presentation or podcast, then they are very, very engaged. So maybe use these strategies, okay, in your lessons. Now, you need to have organized environment so that there is no behavioral issues. So what do you mean by organized environment? How will you ensure that the environment is organized? Number one, strategic seating. You decide where the students are going to sit. Okay. You arrange the seating so that you know that which student needs more support, which student is very naughty, which student is hyperactive. So you place those students well in the different places in the classroom. And you know that which student will collaborate well or work well with which student. So strategic seating is very important to avoid misbehavior. Second is that you have to ensure that your resources are organized well. So you have clearly labeled supplies. So when you say that, okay, please go and collect this. So the place from where they have to collect those things should be properly labeled. There should be a designated area where the students will go and submit whatever work they have completed. And there has to be proper bookshelves where they can just go and collect their books. Okay, so the resources should be well organized in your classroom. So then you will not find students running all over the place. The third thing for having an organized environment is see that there is clear pathway. Ensure that the desks and furnitures are arranged in such a way that you can move around easily in the class and safely. I remember students used to bring their bags in my class. In the schools that I have taught, students used to move from one class to another. Okay, so when the students came into my class, they should just leave their bags near the floor, on the floor, where they sat on the stool. Because it was a lab, I used to teach science, so they used to sit on the stool. So I used to tell them that please put it well inside the big table, okay, towards the inside, so that nobody falls. Otherwise, I will be the person who will be falling, right? Because I'm moving around, distributing sheets and distributing things for the students to do. So ensure that the pathways where the students are going to move is clear. So now, what are the key takeaways from this session today? Okay. First thing is you should have clear communication. Secondly, you have to plan well. Okay. And you should have positive relationships with your students. Listen to them, give support, be empathetic. Okay. And ensure that your learning environment is well organized. So if you follow these principles, then you will make sure that you don't have to manage your classroom. The students behave well and learning happens in your classes. Okay, I'm done with my presentation. Let's discuss points. Tell me, did you learn anything new, or I'm just blabbering and talking about classroom and do this, do this? Oh, we already know, but are we doing it? Maybe not. Yeah.
Can I?
Yes, Rasika.
Yes. Yeah, actually, we literally know all these things. We start like when the year starts, we go with a big energy and all, and then gradually even then the again thing is routine. Routine is somewhat we as a teacher also need to maintain so that it is being shown by the students as well. So that's one key takeaway, that maintain your routine. That's it. One more thing I would like to ask is when like we know the students well, we are able to like tell them sit here and there according to their engagement level and so. But if we if like for me it is I just joined a new school, and then the students are new, like getting to
Hmm.
know them first, it takes time, and then students.
Okay, sorry, I'm interrupting you. Maybe then talk to the previous teachers. Okay, talk. Okay, get information, but don't be biased. Okay, they may say, oh, Ashika is a very naughty girl. Okay, she doesn't listen. She's very rude. Hogi, okay, you take all the information, but don't make a biased thing ki, हाँ, okay, वो ऐसी ही है. She will be like this only. Okay, be open-minded, right? Because I remember I had one student in the first IB school that I taught in. Okay, they used to say, this boy is very, very lazy. He never does my work. Okay, ये नहीं करता है, कुछ homework नहीं करता है. But that student used to do my work every time. Why? Because I used to emotionally blackmail him. I used to say, see, कितना बुरा लगता है ना. I feel so bad when people say that, okay, this fellow is not doing work. ये नहीं करता है, वो नहीं करता है. He doesn't do. He's so lazy. You know, it hurts me when they say that. Okay, so why don't you do your work? What is the problem? So once I have told कि my expectation is this, okay, but you are behaving like this. So then, करता है emotionally blackmail किया. He always did my work. He did not do other teachers' work. I never had any problems with him because I had told him that this is my expectation. And if you don't do, you are not helping me help you. Right? So yeah, you should have high expectations of your students and convey it to them. And also, it's a good idea to know which student is afraid of which parent. that is one another point that I used to keep in mind, because some students are afraid of the father, some students are afraid of the mother. Then I know which parent to go to complain, right?
Right.
So those are my tricks that I used. You want to say anything, Rastika?
Yeah, I would like special tips if we are joining a new organization. Initially, how should we start building the building rapport with the kids, because kids are new to us. Even for them, we are new. It like what should be the strategies initially? Like though I had an experience after 6 months or so. Uh, Kids like the bond goes really well after 6 months, but those initial 6 months are very tough and
Okay,
crucial as well.
first thing what you need to know is know their name.
Know their name.
Okay? If you know their names, if you call them by their names, then they know that the teacher is giving importance to me.
Okay.
Okay, the very first thing that you need to know is know their names. So I had an expat teacher, and it is very difficult for expat teachers to remember Indian names.
Names.
So what he did was he took a photograph of his class. Okay, he told them, "Chalo, stand, everybody. I will take a photograph." So he took a photograph of that student, and then he stuck it on his book. Okay, and he wrote the names of the students besides the photo face, so that he remembers
Also.
the names of the student. So once you remember the name of the student feels that, oh, my teacher knows my name. Oh, Abhi, now that teacher will call me out. Okay, so both advantages, the student is scared, oh, now the teacher will call out my name. Okay, and is also happy that, oh, my teacher knows my name, recognizes me. This is very important for a new teacher, okay, or for new students who come to school. Yes, Samta, you have your hands raised.
Yeah, so one thing that I do is whenever it's a new class, I play a lot of games with them. Which, if it is my subject period, then my it'll be related to the topic. So I make sure that, let's say, for example, if we are doing nouns, then probably I'll just ask them to, touch XYZ thing or whatever, and then I'll tell them that all these are nouns, or maybe verbs. Then I'll say a lot of actions, and then they do. So that's one part of it. But otherwise, during my classroom time, class teacher time, I play games with them. It could be opposite. It could be, as simple as saying that if I say stand, you have to sit. If I say sit, you have to stand. And then slowly and slowly, they keep getting out. So in that, I weave in that you have to be honest. I might not be able to see each one of you, but then, you have to be honest. And we can play it as many times as you want, but let's be honest. So I have seen children being honest. Earlier they used to cheat, but now they be honest that, okay, ma'am, I moved, because even if you move a little bit, even then you are out. That is how, I mean, because they like games. So that is one way to connect with them, is what I feel, which works well for me. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Pragati has a suggestion.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we
Can
can hear you.
Yes, yes. So we play a game called Bingo. If you go to the internet, and Bingo has like icebreakers, there will be certain questions where some part of a psychology of a child also you'll be able to understand, along with their some personal interest, hobbies. That helps you to deal with the child also better. You know where the child is coming from. Also, for an English teacher, she used to give a picture as a prompt, and she used to ask children to write on it, which also helps a teacher to evaluate how the entire thought process is going on. So there are ways where you can open up and know them better, and the more you know them better, it is easier to deal with them accordingly, because every child is special in their own way.
Thank you, Pragati. Also, if you have an interest inventory, give them a list. If you give a template of interest inventory, you will get. Okay, ChatGPT mein dalo, you will get it. So if you have an interest inventory, it will help you in differentiated instruction also, because you will know what they are interested in. So maybe you will make a question according to their interest. So instead of when you are teaching mathematics addition, and I know that my child likes cars, so I will put a question based on cars. Do you get it? Okay. So then it's a good idea to know their interests. That will help to connect with your students. That will also help you to understand the interest of the students for your differentiated instruction. Because before you start differentiating your instruction, you should know your students. You should know how ready they are to get the instruction, what their interests are, and what their learning preferences are. How do they learn best? So very important. This will also help you in having that bonding. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. I need suggestion. See, many times what I face challenges, I know many of the kids, almost from past 5 years I'm working there. All the kids I know from grade nursery to 8th I handle. But sometimes they don't listen, even though I set up all the essential agreements. I had an emotional touch with them. They're very good outside the classrooms. But when come to art class, they don't want it to do. They're very stubborn, many strategies I tried, but somewhere maybe I am missing, or they're not, there is no outcome. After 40 minutes what I see, there's no outcome. Even though I'm saying many times to them, they're not turning up. So how can I make them?
Okay.
Some
Now
tips.
what outcomes? Okay, they are not behaving well. They are not submitting assignments. What outcome are you looking at?
They will sit quietly. They'll just disturb others, whoever working. I'll be behind everyone. I don't sit usually. I'll be behind everyone, but still, even I enforce. I'll set the task. I'll set the goal for them. I'll say this is my clear expectation for this particular class. Something they need. Maybe suppose I will give tints today. We are going to make some tints using some colors. Oh, very simple expectations I'll give. It is for grade 7 level, but still a few boys, like few students, they will not turn up. At least take the brush, take the paints. They will not turn up. But in all the other subjects, academics, they are really good. So sometimes I face.
So then what is the consequence?
Usually, I don't give consequences.
There, you told my answer. If you don't have consequence, क्या मैंने बोला था? Consistent consequences. If there is a break in your essential agreement, if they are breaking your essential agreement, then what are the consequences? If you don't give consequences, then I know मेरी teacher कुछ भी नहीं करेगी, तो मैं क्या करूँ?
Consequences majorly we say I'll send you out of the class, but
No,
that cannot
that
be
is
done.
not a consequence. That is not a consequence. Okay?
So
Will
some-
or not, will,
yes, ma'am.
okay, first time I will give you a warning. Second time, maybe I will say that, okay, this is the second time. Third time, I'll send an email to your parent. Fourth time, this will be reflected in your report card. Because whatever you're doing in class will also help in the summative assessment, right?
Yes,
Okay?
yes,
Ha.
yes.
When you cut the grades, it hits them hard. Whatever said and done, especially for Indian students, Asian students. You know?
Yes, yes.
So I'm
But
not saying
few students, they are
cut
okay.
the marks. I'm not saying cut the marks. But if you don't have any consequences, why would I listen? You should have
That is there
consequences and you
actually.
have to
But
follow through with the
later I started
consequence.
some rewards are working. I started with rewards, giving some stars. Nothing is working. I'm just thinking all the differentiation strategies. I am
No,
going
because
to.
I'm saying that you don't have consequences. That is the reason.
Ma'am, at points like
I
we say, the students
some example.
decide the consequences. But like I have faced students say, no, we don't, even if we don't do, we won't be doing, like you won't be punishing us, or like what at the max we can do.
So over there, you have to be consistent with your consequence. If you don't follow through, if I'm going to say that I'm going to give you a warning, it has to be a warning. If I'm going to say that second time, you will have to write this 2 times or 3 times, or you will have to stay 5 minutes during the break, follow through. Okay. And if you say that I'm the third time, an email will go home, follow through. If you don't follow through, they know that teacher is not doing anything. So, okay, I will not do.
Can I get few examples from your side, like what your students have agreed up to as a consequences?
So they have said that if anybody disturbs in the class, then we should ask that student to leave the class. Okay. So that is your consequence. I have not said they are going to leave. Okay. So for how much time will the student leave the class? Okay. Because if the head of school comes in and says that, okay, the child is outside the class, then what do I answer? Okay. So have that thing also. Okay. I cannot tell the student to stay out for a whole 40 minutes. Hai na? So then if you're going to come in, then on what thing that I will allow that student to come in, write a reflection. Okay. So if the student has written a reflection, I did this, therefore I was that. He's already giving you evidence of bad behavior, which I can show it in the parent-teacher meeting to the student's parent. See, I have evidence why the students have not behaved well. Yeah, I used reflections. Okay, I used to tell them, okay, write down what was the what happened. Okay, why were you given this consequence? Okay, what you should have done instead. Okay, so they write it. And then you say that, okay, are you going to do it again? No. How do I know? If you do it again, then they will write. You can send an email to my parent. Okay, follow through. Yeah. In fact, I used to have those students who really behaved badly and who did not submit work. I used to have a behavior sheet. We had that at school. Okay. So I used to tell that student that this particular sheet you will take as a coordinator, I used to give it. Okay. And I used to tell them that you have to take this sheet to every class and you say that I behaved well this lesson and take the signature of the teacher. If you have not, the teacher will not sign. And if you consistently, if you have not got all good signatures, good behavior signatures, then at the end of that week, I will call the parent.
Yeah,
कि नहीं
even
हुआ है,
one of
नहीं
our
हुआ है.
student, he daily gets a sheet for all the lessons, and the teacher has to fill after, like, before exiting the class for that particular student, how well behaved he was throughout
Yeah.
the lesson.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
initially for 2 weeks, he was getting all the negative comments. By the obviously the teacher has to fill it, and the coordinator at the end of the day, he used to collect that sheet, and the student cannot write his by his own. Na? The teacher needs to write it. So gradually he's changing now.
Yeah. I have seen students
Yeah.
changing. Yeah. In fact, my son, when he was in grade 3, there was some fight and he hit one boy and that boy fell. He got hurt on his head and he had to go undergo a surgery. Okay. At that time, I told the director of the school that my son every day at the end of the day will come and report to you and say, I have behaved well today. I did not hit anybody. That he did continuously for a month. And if the director feels that, okay, he has behaved well, he's not been hitting anybody or any such thing is happening, so then he could not come. Okay, he was allowed to go home straight away from the last lesson. So I told the director he will do it. Okay, because this is not what is expected of him. So if the school doesn't have any, don't know what to do, I told them, okay, he will go and he will tell the director, I behave well. So,
Ma'am,
did you get some points? Tell me, Pushpalata. Pushpavati, sorry.
Yes, that's okay, ma'am. When I give some materials to work with them, that time also I find difficult. Even I give a proper task for the group set of groups for grade 5 level. I said these are the inventions. As I said, inventions was my integrated topic. I gave them set of materials. This is a set of materials you need to work, and this is the task you need to invent out of some materials you need to take up. That time the class was very messed up, and few students, they literally want to trouble all the other groups. So that time also I felt very difficult.
Okay, so now you decided what they should do, right?
Only materials I had given, but they yes,
So
the task.
instead of you deciding, na, you tell them, na, what would you want to do?
Okay.
Then only they will be focused, na, because I'm doing what I like.
No, I had given invention, that is up to them. They need to create some good product. Which whatever they like, they had all the research from their home.
Then was there any rubric? Was there any criteria?
Yes, sir. I had given a very simple criteria. This has
Okay, so that was for the task. Okay, was there any criteria for behavior, for personal
that
engagement?
only for the product.
I had when you are expecting certain behavior, then give a rubric for behavior also.
Behavior also, okay.
And tell them that I will grade you on the behavior also, because being focused in class, self-management, organization, those are also ATL skills, right?
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
So if you are going to fool around and spoil everything, then you will not manage. That means you are not organized and you are not managing your time well. Right?
Yes.
So have some personal engagement criteria rubric also.
Okay.
Try that.
I'll for MYP also we can try this.
Yeah, why not?
Rubrics for behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
though it may not
Because
be
we're
going
not
into
supposed to assess.
though it may not be graded in the
Main
final this,
report.
but look at your strand. Okay, assessment criteria strand. See if you can incorporate self-management anywhere. अरे ChatGPT में डालना. This for this particular strand, criteria strand, how can I incorporate self-management?
I'll try this, ma'am. I'll try this. Thank you.
Yeah. Rasika is feeling very happy today. I can see it from your face. You're feeling very happy, as if khazana mil gaya.
Like in general, if I like all educators are here, um, is it so that this kids or this generation is becoming so that even if we ask them to keep away their device, switch away their device, even if we give them a research work instead of if we are using a technology, but they will quickly go switch their work, switch their windows. So is it just happening with me or in our school, or is it like everywhere else?
It's everywhere. It's even with me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy with my device. I rather sit with my device and go out, do exercise or walk.
So I do feel is that only I am facing this issue
No,
of
no, it's
kids
everywhere.
not
It's everywhere.
behaving well or not this?
No, it's everywhere.
Even in my school, no worries.
Hmm. So that's why first thing is to build relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a good relationship with your students, then I don't think so there will be any trust issues. And if you know your students well, okay, they will come and they will tell you honestly.
For the same student, I like to tell the experience of just today. He came to me at the end of the class. I was teaching them like surface area of pyramid maths. Okay, and I was writing his reflection that you were being noisy, making noise from the bottle, and so. But I would say then I told him I won't write much of negative, only if you tell me what was being taught. And then he honestly said, "No, I didn't pay attention what you were teaching." Then I told, okay, just listen to me 5 minutes. Personally, I'll teach you this thing. Okay, on your level, I broke down the concepts and I explained, and he was like, "Ma'am, itna easy tha ye," and he was like going and telling everyone, "कि यार ये तो इतना easy था, ये तो इतना easy था." मैंने कहा, that's what the thing is. You people don't even pay attention, and then when you come to
So you have to teach them active listening skills.
okay,
Okay? Teach them explicitly active listening skills. Okay, using iMessages.
iMessages. Okay,
Google can teach active listening skills strategy. Use iMessages. है ना?
I'll do that. I'll do that.
To be a good leader, instead of talking, you should have good listening skills. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? What new message? Thank you. Thank you, Shaili. Thank you for joining this online interactive session. Maya, thank you so much. Samta, Pragati, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much,
And I
ma'am.
hope Pushpavati and Miss Rasika, you got advantage of this session. है ना?
Yeah,
Yes,
at
ma'am.
least we are again feel like though we have every time we face this difficulty, we try to search out for strategy. We get energized कि हाँ मैं कल से ये try करूँगी. In that same way, like from the session, again the things have been like popped up कि हाँ ये करके देखेंगे वो
You
करके
use
देखेंगे.
that jam jar. Use that jam jar technique.
Jam jar,
इनका
yeah.
निकाल के ना नहीं miss. Don't remove lot of marbles. And this is my grade 8 screaming.
Thank you so
Actually,
much.
in my in my room I kept all that jar balls, that balls with one complete jar. I don't know what to do with that in my art activity. I'll definitely try this one.
Yeah,
With,
it works. It works
with
like a charm.
from last 2 years it is lying in my class. Some class teacher has kept it over there, HRT, but I don't know how to use, what to use with the
Mm.
small kids. I'll try this one, ma'am. Thank you
Good.
so much,
All
ma'am.
the best,
Thank you so much.
Pushpati. Okay.
Yeah,
Chalo,
thank you.
bye. See you
Bye.
everyone.